If your content isn't converting, it's probably not because you're not good at what you do. It's because your story is trapped in your head instead of landing on their hearts. Let me show you how to shift that on this video. I'm Angela McMillan, Feldenkrais practitioner, storytelling coach, and creator of the Embodiment Business Network. I help wellness and somatic practitioners stop sounding vague, soft, and overly professional and start creating content that connects emotionally and sells ethically. This video kicks off my July series, Embodied Storytelling That Sells, and we're going to start with the one framework that changed everything for my clients called aspires. Most people write content from their head. Facts, expertise, education, but what actually moves people is resonance, emotion, story. And the right story structure creates emotional trust. And trust is what people buy. We're sitting on hundreds of stories that could change lives. And when we share them, we're sharing them like a journal entry or a case study. And it doesn't land on people the way we hope. People aren't just reading your post about your client. They're asking, is this me? Can I trust her? Will it work for me too? This is where story-based marketing comes in. It's not about being a great copywriter or sounding polished and professional. It's about learning to frame your stories in a way that the reader feels seen. And that's what we're doing right now with the Aspires framework inside my Ignite practitioner space. And why I'm so passionate about sharing this skill with practitioners so that they can build these storytelling framework that resonates with the right people that they want to help. Why does storytelling matter so much in 2025? In recent consumer behavioral studies, the research says that consumers need 15 to 20 touch points with you before they make a decision. Since the pandemic, buyers are more cautious, emotionally driven, and they want to feel a deep resonance before investing, especially in wellness. And yet, wellness sales are up. Generic tips, facts, and formulas don't work anymore. You can see why in the last video. What works is emotional connection and self-identification. And that's what we're doing with Aspires. It's not about writing more content. It's about writing content that works. Emotionally grounded, nervous system aware, positioned to build trust, and invites your audience to take action. Let's talk about one of the biggest blind spots in current storytelling frameworks and why the Aspires framework is different. Most marketing and narrative frameworks, think story brand, PSA, and even the hero's journey, collapse the symptom and the pain into one step. They go straight from what's wrong and here's how to fix it. Most storytelling models go from aspiration, desire into pain, or pain into aspiration, desire, or sometimes they even missed the aspiration or desire. They go from, if you're struggling with XYZ, here's the solution. And honestly, it makes sense in a fast-paced copywriting world. You might have heard, agitate the problem, here's the solution. Or define the internal and external struggle. So let's look at the comparison between the common storytelling frameworks and the Aspires framework. First up, you've got the Donald Miller story brand. The pain is defined as external and internal problem. The symptom is often skipped or folded into the pain. There's no clear distinction there. The PSA, the problem, agitate, solution, focuses on the surface pain and emotion. Agitation blurs the symptom and pain line. It's very compressed into the one part. The hero's journey focuses on the core conflict, the transformation. The symptom is implied, the call to adventure, only metaphorically explored. But that's not how humans, especially somatic clients, process change. These models work fast, but they collapse the pain and the symptom into one step. That's great for copywriting, but it's not great for connection. especially in the somatic and wellness space. What's missing is the entry point, that moment of recognition, the symptom, the lived experience of something being off. Aspires is the missing layer. It doesn't rush the journey. It walks the reader from aspiration, symptom, and pain to build resonance and safety and trust. In somatic work, we know the nervous system doesn't move from numbness to emotional truth in one leap. It starts with noticing, with the pattern, with the symptom. And that's where we have to meet our clients. So here's the difference. The symptom, behavioral. The pain, emotional. The symptom is familiar. The pain is often denied. The symptom, low stakes to name the symptom. The pain, high stakes to admit. The symptom, I cancel plans a lot. The pain, I don't feel worthy of connection. But here's the issue. When you skip over the symptom, you lose that entry point. So let me explain the aspires framework. The first three letters are aspiration, the moment your client is longing for. S is the symptom or situation, what's actually happening in their life that shows something is off. The pain is the problem. It's the deeper emotional truth underneath the symptom. The symptom is what they're telling their friend over coffee. The pain is what they're running through their head at 2 a.m. in the morning. If your content skips the symptom, your audience won't be safe enough to stay. Why does this matter? Because your audience will recognize the symptom first. If you lead with pain, they might scroll on past. If you name the symptom and gently lead towards the pain, they'll feel seen and safe. Your content becomes a mirror, not a megaphone. Want to see this in action? Here's a post from Patricia, which I introduced you to on my live story makeover. Kat used to say yes to everything, even when she was barely holding herself together. When her family wanted to stay for a long visit, she froze. Last time, she ended up crying in front of everyone, then spent days hating herself. Why couldn't she handle things that seemed easy for everyone else? Because she wasn't too sensitive, she was unsupported. Together, we mapped out her actual limits and turned them into kind but clear boundaries. I taught her simple nervous system tools that helped her stay grounded. When things got noisy or emotionally charged, she didn't need to change who she was, she needed a way to honor it. The result, a calm, connected visit, and pride in how she showed up. See how that's symptom and pain? It's not dramatic, it's not salesy, it's true. And because it's true, it builds trust. And trust is what people buy. And this is the part that most people miss. Generic content isn't just a strategy issue, it's a nervous system pattern. I talked about this more on the last video. When you go broad, vague, overly polished, it's not because you're bad at content. It's because your system feels that visibility isn't safe. When you slow down and you walk your reader through their aspiration, through their symptom, through their pain, you build connection without forcing vulnerability. And that's why I created Aspires, because most frameworks teach you to push. This one helps you build resonance and trust. If you're a practitioner and you're tired of this paint by numbers marketing advice, if you want a messaging strategy that reflects your depth, your ethics, and your somatic lens, this is what we do inside the Embodied Messenger Lab. And inside the Firestarter Mastermind, we put these stories on the stage to amplify your brand. If you want to start working with the Aspires framework, I've got the link in the comments to the Ignite Practitioner space inside the Movement Online Academy, where you'll find all the resources needed to get started for free today. What I see is that most practitioners are caught in what I called professional freeze. You're not showing up unqualified. You're showing up disconnected because you're hiding your lived experience under too much teaching. People don't buy because you're the smartest in the room. You're 18, 20, 25 years experience. They buy because they feel seen, safe, and they're certain that you're the one to help them. Story is what creates that certainty and builds trust. And the research into neuroscience, into storytelling backs this up. Stories activate more parts of the brain than facts alone, especially the parts responsible for emotion, empathy, and memory. According to Stanford research, people are 22 more times likely to remember information told through story format. Why does this matter to you? Most of you didn't start this work to become marketers. You started because you love the work and you want to help people feel more whole again. But if your message isn't clear, people won't get what you do. They won't be able to say yes. If this is clicking for you, there's 3 ways that you can work deeper with me this month. One is to join the Ignite Practitioner space for wellness and somatic practitioners to start using the Aspires framework. And every week I offer feedback to a few select practitioners sharing their story-led content. 2 is the Firestarter Mastermind, which is a 2-week incubator where we craft your stories, you collaborate with other practitioners across the globe and put those stories on the stage. The 3rd is my favorite, my new baby, the Embodied Messenger Lab, which is a 6-week signature course where we design your story-led content, craft your message, and create a high-end signature program. The link to join Ignite is below, where you'll find out more about the programs and what I offer. And of course, you can always work with me one-to-one to really dive deep into your offers, your ideal clients, and building a message that resonates. Your story isn't just personal, it's strategic. The moment that you understand that, your content shifts, and so does your business. Subscribe if you're ready for more. Let's get visible together.